Welcome to Culture Screen, where we analyze culture through countdown. In this series, I will go through every episode of The Sopranos, providing recaps and analysis for each episode. The Sopranos pilot episode is titled The Sopranos. It was directed and written by David Chase. It first aired on January 10th, 1999. It is June 1998, and Tony Soprano is introduced as a New Jersey member of the DeMeo family. While barbecuing some food, he faints. Afterwards, his next-door neighbor and family doctor, Dr. Cusimano, cannot identify any physical ailment that may have caused Tony to pass out and diagnoses it as a panic attack. Dr. Cusimano recommends Tony visit Dr. Jennifer Melfi, a psychiatrist that might be able to help Tony with his panic attacks. This scene is followed up with a scene where Tony goes to Dr. Melfi, and we first hear Tony express his disbelief in the field of psychology. So at first he's very dismissive and he sees psychology as basically a money grab. This is where Tony expresses to Dr. Melfi that he feels his waste management business life is often stressful to him. He also feels like the golden years of his family business are behind him, and he describes his longing for the past. He complains to Dr. Melfi about how his wife, Carmela Soprano, and daughter, Meadow Soprano, do not get along. Tony also describes how the friendship his daughter is developing with her friend, Hunter Scangarello, is worrying his wife. Tony also describes to Dr. Melfi that he is also responsible for training his nephew, Christopher Moltisanti, to work in his business. It is obvious from the beginning that Christopher is not going to be reliable for Tony down the road. He is often late and always has an excuse for not doing certain tasks. During this discussion, Tony has a flashback where he and Christopher chase down Alex Mahaffey, who owes Tony gambling money. Tony does not go into the details of what they do to Alex after meeting up with him for coffee, as he calls it. In reality, Christopher chases Alex down on foot, while Tony takes over the wheel of Chris's new $60,000 Lexus and runs into Alex with it. Once Alex is on the floor outside of the US HMO offices, Tony continues beating him. Tony describes how he is also responsible for taking care of his mother, Olivia Soprano. Tony describes his mother as a pessimist and a cynic. He describes how his wife has a strange relationship with his family's Catholic priest, Father Phil in Tintola. The scene ends as Dr. Melfi guides Tony towards seeing that he is in fact suffering from depression. Tony leaves the office as soon as Dr. Melfi talks to Tony about the ducks again, symbolizing the huge importance the ducks will have for Tony in future episodes. In the next major scene, Tony's mother, Olivia, does not agree with living at a nursing home. This back and forth between him and his mother triggers another panic attack for Tony. After this second panic attack, Dr. Melfi prescribes Prozac to Tony, and he later thanks her for the prescription when he bumps into her at a restaurant. At the following session, Tony says the medication has been working out. Dr. Melfi tells Tony it's impossible that the Prozac worked so quickly, as it takes some time to have effect on patients. Here, Tony describes a dream he had to Dr. Melfi. In his dream, Tony's penis is taken by a bird representing the family of ducks in the beginning of the episode. Dr. Melfi guides Tony towards seeing the connection. Tony begins to cry a little as he understands his dreams are essentially a reflection of his inner consciousness. Now he learns this about himself thanks to Dr. Melfi, of course. Melfi tells Tony that the ducks represent his family and that he passed out after seeing the ducks fly away because he is desperately afraid of losing his family. Tony later secretly confesses to Carmela that he is seeing a psychiatrist, and this makes her very happy. Later on, Tony's waste management company, Barone Sanitation, is competing with the Color Brothers Sanitation Company over the Triborough Towers. Rather than compete over market share, Christopher decides to take matters into his own hands by killing the nephew of Evzen Kolar, the manager of Kolar Brothers Sanitation, inside of Satrielli's pork store, which is owned by Tony Soprano and the DeMeo family. This is the first on-screen death in The Sopranos and sets a serious tone for a series that appears to be a comedy at first. As if this weren't enough, Tony then has to strategically prevent an associate, Malanga, from being killed inside of Vesuvio's, Tony's restaurant of choice, run by Artie. Artie is a childhood friend of Tony's, and Uncle Junior is going to execute Malanga, a crime family associate, but he wants to do it inside of the Vesuvio restaurant. Now, Tony does not like the idea, but Artie won't leave, decides to torch the restaurant instead after he fails to convince Artie to simply close the restaurant for a couple of days. This was done in order to avoid having the hit take place at Vesuvio's and destroying his childhood friend's restaurant and reputation. Later on, at Anthony's birthday party, Tony is seen speaking to Artie about the loss of Vesuvio. Tony tells Artie that he will always be there to support him. Christopher is of course jealous that Tony isn't giving him the credit and recognition that he feels he deserves for the hit he did on Emil Kolar of the Kolar Brothers Sanitation. Tony, however, never ordered Christopher to kill Emil Carlo and felt it was a bit unnecessary. After a brief discussion, Christopher and Tony are on good terms again. This scene concisely describes the unstable relationship Tony and Christopher have so far, just in the first episode. In the final scene, Uncle Junior is driving with Olivia in the passenger seat. Junior makes it clear to Olivia that if Tony keeps meddling in his business, that he will have to kill Tony. Olivia does not defend Tony. She instead looks out onto the passenger side window and directly into the viewer's eyes, while Uncle Junior continues to drive on, emotionally upset. Here we are left with a cliffhanger because we don't know if Olivia wants her own son killed or not. This relationship between mother and son continues to come up throughout the entire Sopranos series. This was a recap of episode 1 of The Sopranos titled The Sopranos. To see episode 2 titled 46 Long, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can see it when I upload it. If you haven't seen our The Many Saints of Newark What We Know So Far video, click on the card above. We upload new videos every week, so subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Click the notification bell to be notified of when we upload these videos. See you on the next episode of Culture Screen.